Planet Dolan.
From playing guitar naked
to farting during a test,
the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some more of the best true stories from our subreddit about something weird we've been caught doing.
I'm Pringle the One.
And I'm Nixxiom.
And today we'll both be narrating. Number 10 was submitted by JCwhiterabbit. When Dolan was about 7 years old, he was in the garage at his grandma's house and found some dolls. Dolan was rather curious because he never played with dolls before. Everything was normal until he decided to take off their clothes. He then chopped the dolls into pieces and accidentally cut himself. Dolan's grandma then walked in to see if he was alright. When Dolan turned around, he was covered in blood, crying his eyes out with a naked broken doll in his hands and pieces of other dolls everywhere else. Due to all the embarrassment, he also made a mess downstairs. Dolan passed out after that, either from blood loss or embarrassment. His grandma always changes the subject when he brings up that incident.
Number 9 was submitted by GalaxyCat. When Shima was about 7 years old, she was staying at her best friend's house. They got bored and decided to start a fire in her driveway, just as it was getting, kinda dark. Her friend grabbed her dad's lighter that he kept outside, and she gathered some pine needles. They saw some rocks around her basketball ring and decided that they were just the right rocks for making a campfire. Shima gathered up the pine needles into a group, and they had the lighter ready. Her friend brought the rocks over one by one until they had a perfect little campfire circle. They started the fire and were happy with their creation. But they unfortunately were not smart enough to realize that the rocks were the only things keeping that basketball ring from falling over. And so, it fell and it smashed right into Shima's dad's truck. The alarm on the truck went off and they both screamed. Shima tried her best to put out the fire while her friend got the basketball ring off the car. Shima was still in the process of stomping out the fire when she saw him, the dad just standing there, staring at them.
Number 8 was submitted by SsourBelts. Zaraganba was bored one day and wanted to go upstairs. He rolled off the couch, laid down on his back, grabbed his iPad and Wendy's burger, then started scooting his way to the stairs on his back, yelling,
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past.
Suddenly, his mom cut him off. Zaraganba had forgotten that she was sitting on the couch because he was so into scooting his way to the stairs.
Number 7 was submitted by Tiana Rose Number 1. When Pandora was just 13, her friend asked her to watch some dirty stuff. At first, she said,
What kind of question is that? Of course not.
He just glared back at her, begging her to watch it with him. She watched for only 2 minutes and was already feeling really awkward and trying not to gag. Her friend said, Be right back, Pandora. Stay here. I gotta use the bathroom. She nodded and was about to get up to get a snack when she felt that somebody was watching her. Pandora turned around to see her friend's sister standing there holding a cup of milk, looking at the screen. At first, Pandora wondered why, but then realized the dirty stuff was still on. She looked from the sister to the screen, and then back to the sister, and then back to the screen one more time. She was doing her best not to sweat. When her friend came back and saw the scene, he just stood there, staring at his sister as she looked at both of them with her mouth dangling open. And so, without saying a word, Pandora grabbed her bag and slowly walked out the door.
Number 6 was submitted by Mental Hippos. When Ghost Toast was about 8 or 9, at about 11 p.m., which was past his bedtime, he walked into his parents' room. They asked him what he was doing, but he didn't respond. Ghost Toast then proceeded to pull his pants down and pee in the trash can. He was sleepwalking, but instead of waking up, his parents just laughed. They never let him forget the incident.
Number 5 was submitted by InsaneKittyCat. When Spinal Palm was 10 years old, it was extremely ball-dripping hot. and so he took off all of his clothes and started to watch YouTube. His dad shouted for him to practice guitar, but Spinal Palm's door was closed, so his dad didn't hear him start playing. 5 minutes later, his dad came up to the room to see if he was practicing, and what he saw was Spinal Palm, totally naked, playing his guitar. "What are you doing?" his dad shouted. Spinal Palm screamed back,
I was hot. What are you doing?
His dad tried not to look at him, and he just walked out of the room.
Number 4 was submitted by Jordan22123. When Sid was 4 or 5, he took some peanut butter out of the cabinet and started to rub it on his feet. As his dog would lick it off every time, Sid thought it was hilarious, but his mom didn't see the funny side. She came out of her room and said, "If you do this one more time, I'm gonna take away all of your toys." Sid never did it again. Or did he?
Number 3 was submitted by Boe Shire. Hellbent was in the act with his girlfriend when he was young, and she said that she wanted him to wear a dress while they performed. Hellbent hated the idea, but he loved her a lot, and he owed her for something. A week later, he obliged, and he wore the dress. And guess what? While they were in the middle of the action, her dad walked in on them. He could never look his girlfriend's dad in the eyes ever again, and to this day, Hellbent always makes sure the door is locked.
Number 2 was submitted by Lava Squad. When Sweet Commando was 10, he was in a math class taking a test. It was completely silent, like ears ringing, hearing the pen drop on carpet silent. At one point, his stomach started cramping and gurgling, and he felt as if he had diarrhea. Then, it happened. In the dead, silent room, Sweet Commando let out the loudest fart of his life. Another teacher even came into the room to see who had snuck in the tuba. It was definitely not his grandest moment.
And now for the part you've all been waiting for. Number 1 was submitted by me. Okay, I think that the weirdest thing that I've ever been caught doing is giving myself a big-ass pep talk. Seriously, whenever I feel down or unmotivated, I will go out, pace around, and I will explain to myself why I just need to suck up the sadness, the laziness, stop the procrastination or whatever, and just get the work done. I will pump myself up with some epic speeches. Then I'll go pump some iron, and then whatever it is I need to do, I will go and get it done. But the thing is that when I was younger, one time I didn't realize that my mother was home, and so she caught me lecturing myself about how I need to stop making so many excuses and just get my writing papers done for school. It was pretty awkward when she walked in and said, "Who are you talking to?" I got an A on all the papers, so pep talk still worked. Yeah.
Hey, I also have a good story. When I was about 7 years old, I had a pretty overreactive imagination. I would always think that I could fly. I could always fly. Just like Superman and Super Saiyan Goku. So one day, it was class and it was recess, and I slid down the slide, and as soon as I did that, I made sure that I jumped out and screamed, "I'm going Super Saiyan!" After that, the whole class knew I did that. And then they called me Super Saiyan Pringles. Huge thanks for the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What was the most embarrassing time you misunderstood someone? Let us know on the Reddit page link below. You might be featured in a future countdown. Take care, everybody. Much love and appreciation. Peace. Bag that they hand out. A friend ended up puking on the floor. No more than a few seconds later, a young kid seated next to her and went, "Hoodle," and started stomping around in the puke. His mom seemed absolutely miffed, but Doopy and her friend had to fight to contain.